So we're gonna talk about how I feel about the not twisters. But we're gonna talk about how I feel about the lens pens. Now a lot of people are raising up questions about the lens pens in another live stream, and so you gotta ask yourself: is lens pens necessarily the way to go? Me personally, I do not like the lens pens. Which I'll show you why here in just a second. Because they are, in my opinion, a lower grade of plastic. There have been cases where they get this massive belt burn around them, and I personally think and feel like these guys here are just simply cheaply made. Um, they, in my opinion, let me hang on a second. They are, in my opinion, cheaply made, and they are not as good a quality as your other wooden pens, such as your Brunswick Max and Score Kings and what have you. Um, I just think it's a cheaper pen, number one. So these pens, in my opinion, would not last very long. They do make good collector pens. I will give them that. Um, I personally believe that they are not meant to be like on lanes or anything like that. Because I've heard of cases where they've actually snapped the necks off. And they've had to toss them out. Now this is a Brunswick Score King. And the difference is between that and this. Same way with the Brunswick pens. They actually got the white nylon ring the Brunswick Max do. This guy has a black nylon ring. It's also I think a little bit heavier. But this guy is also a UV glow Brunswick Score King as well. Now, if I had to choose and I have my own center, I definitely would never have a lens pen in my center. Never. It'd either be Brunswick AML for Twister. And that's my personal opinion. Now, when my local bowling alley, fun story about that pen back there, that lens pen I showed you. When my local bowling alley got them lens bowling pens, not even a year after they got them, they started wearing down rather quickly and started cracking. And when they started cracking like right. I've seen them start cracking right about here where the seam is of the pen, straight up the side, or just to the other side of the seam and straight up. I've seen them crack like that. I've even seen some of them, or heard of cases where some of them would actually start to crack right around the bottom of the base of the neck right here at the pen. So, I definitely do not think lens bowling pins are very good to have at a bowling alley. Now, if you want to collect them, that's fine, but they're not a good quality pen. Um, Now, let's go ahead and turn my camera around. See, I got pins right here. And that colored pin back there is also a Brunswick Max. Now, that guy, some centers actually do a thing during cosmic bowling. If you see a colored pin and you get a strike, but it's got to be in the head pin position, is what I was, from my understanding. Some places says it's got to be in that head pin position, and it has to fall when your ball hits that pin. And keep in mind, every other rack, that'd be the only wood pin with the twisters at the one center I go to. And if you knock that thing down, colored pin during a cosmic bowling event, then you get a strike. Then your next visit, you would win a free game for your next visit. You know, which is also a good thing. Now we're going to kind of talk about how Brunswick pins, some Brunswick pins actually break down. Tuck my shirt back in. I've seen, now this is one of my old bowling pins from my local bowling alley before they went USBC Brunswick Max. And I got one down here. We're going to show you how they break sometimes. Now, with the older ones, this pin's actually from, I would say, the early to mid 90s. It might be in the late 80s, I don't know. But anyway, this is one of the ones from the late 80s to mid 90s. But I would have to say early 90s, I'd say. So we'll just go with that. Some of these older Brunswick Max pins, some pins do become scalped over time, and AMF pins were noted for that if you let them go too long before you replace them. So, let's look at the top. Some of these Brunswick pins I've seen get scalped because they're just simply old pins. Now, here's another one. Here's another one that got scalped. Only some of that wood is actually wore out and the plastic's actually peeling away from it. And the neck is starting to crack right here. The pin's starting to crack right there at the base of the neck of that pin. That's the way some of the pins actually would break. Now this guy, on the other hand, is a Brunswick Max as well, and I paid $5 for this. I got this from a bowling alley over in Vandalia. Not even hardly hurt at all. Virtually unscathed. It's got a few nicks here and there. This is what they would call their new used. Old used, I'd pay $1 for them. Now, here is one of the newer, excuse me. Newer Brunswick Max pins. It's probably a few years old. So some of the Brunswick pins, look at this. The wood at the bottom actually split, and it's cracked along the side. There's like four. See how this one's starting to split more. 1, 2, 3. It's like cracked all the way around pretty much. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 cracks in it. See, normally when a ball would hit it, you wouldn't hear that. It also rattles. Listen. This, seeing a Brunswick pen actually break like this, I've never seen that. Not sure exactly what had happened, but a pen chaser that I know personally, let me have that. I'm good. So that's one of the Brunswick pens. Here is one of the 5 final AMF pens, the last of the AMF pens. From Cable, it's one of the last ones. This one too is also from 2002. This pen's from 2002. It's one of the last 5 I got from when Cable closed in Effingham, Illinois. Here's another one. But, yeah, just them pens, I don't want to get rid of too many pens from Cable because, you know, that was one of my childhood bowling centers I hung out to. Used to hang out a lot at every Thursdays and Saturdays just to go hang out, you know, kind of listen to music and what have you. Cool. And then I got some busted UV glow Quebec AMF AM flights. And I'll show you how some of those can bust. Alright. Starting with this one. Look at the top. And look at the side. It almost kind of reminds me of something like a war zone or something. It almost looks like... Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It almost looks like someone took a shotgun and blew the side of the pen off. This one's not in as bad a shape. This one here just has a crack. But the newest pen that I have in my collection is from 2018, with the oldest being from 81. So, just kind of wanted to show you some of my pen collection. And how some pens can actually break down. Now, the only difference is... The only difference is between these thank you. Merry Christmas to you too. And the only difference between these guys here will actually last a bit longer than your standard traditional wooden pens. This guy is a synthetic pen, as it says right here on the back, made by a company out of Germany called Twister. Now, a lot of people like to hate these pens. I love them. I bowl really well with these pens, actually. The only difference is these guys do dent, and they don't splinter like your wooden pins when they break. So there is that. All right. Oh wow, I'll be 34 next year. I will be 34 years old next year. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to kind of show you some of the pins I got. Try to explain to you the best I can is how some pins can break down. That's just to my best of my ability. So, all right. I hope you guys got something out of it. Again, you can watch us from the very beginning. Leave a like and a comment down below. We'll see you next time, man. Before I go, I always want to remind you that Jesus loves you and have a wonderful day. And if you guys like to watch bowling stuff, head on over to Garage Bowling Alley. He is live right now, so go check him out. Go say hi. And we'll see y'all in the next video. And before I go, I always want to remind you that Jesus loves you. Have a wonderful night.